For centuries, the story of global power had a familiar setting and a well-known cast of characters. The axis of economic, political, and military influence ran through the capitals of the West through Washington, London, Brussels, and Tokyo. This was the so-called Global North. It set the rules, built the institutions, and dominated the narrative of what it meant to be a modern, powerful nation. But a profound and irreversible shift is underway. The tectonic plates of global influence are moving, and the central question of the 21st century is becoming clear. Is the future of global power moving south? This is the first episode of a series. We bring you the insights of leading experts and a range of perspectives on this and other critical issues. Part 1. The rise. Why now? The shift in power is driven by three major changes. First, demographics. While populations in the North age and shrink, the global South is young and growing. This isn't just about numbers. It's about energy, innovation, and a massive future consumer market. Consider this. By 2050, 9 out of 10 of the world's population growth will be in the South. That's over 2 billion more people. We're not just looking at a larger workforce. We're talking about a surge in entrepreneurial spirit and a new consumer class. It's not just the numbers, it's the aspirations of a youthful population. Look at the crowds of students in Nairobi's tech hubs in Bangalore or the vibrant marketplaces of Lagos. These are the faces of tomorrow's innovators and consumers. Second, economics. We're witnessing the greatest alleviation of poverty in human history. Nations like China and India have lifted hundreds of millions out of poverty and into the middle class. For instance, China's middle class has grown from 3% of the population in 1982 over 50% today. That's over 700 million people. These countries are no longer just sources of raw materials and cheap labor. They are manufacturing hubs, financial centers, and technological powerhouses. Take electric cars. China is now the largest producer and consumer of EVs. In 2022, Chinese companies produced 6.2 million electric vehicles, accounting for 60% of global production. Or consider space. India's successful private space missions are transforming the economics of space travel, and in Africa, a new film industry is booming, Nollywood. The name given to Nigerian film industry produces over 2,500 films a year, providing jobs and entertainment to millions. And third, technology. The Global South isn't just adopting technology, it's reinventing it. Remember when the mobile phone was seen as a luxury item? Today, it's a necessity and a tool for empowerment. Over 90% of adults in low and middle-income countries had a mobile phone in 2021. In Africa, mobile money is transforming financial services, and in Latin America, telemedicine is bridging the healthcare gap. Part 2. The new playbook, challenging the status quo, the rise of the Global South, is not just about economic growth. It's translating into political influence. The status quo is being challenged. The global south is no longer content to just follow the rules written by others. It's starting to write its own. Consider the BRICS alliance: Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. BRICS is more than an acronym. It's a vision of an alternative global order. In 2023, BRICS became the acronym for almost half of humanity. These nations aren't just meeting annually. They are increasing their share of global trade. Their combined GDP growth rate in 2023 was nearly twice that of G7 nations. They're also deepening ties with countries of the global south. Trade between BRICS nations and other developing countries increased by over 30% in the last 5 years. But it's not just about trade. It's about writing new rules. Countries are prioritizing their own economic development and national interests over ideological blocs. Think back to the Cold War. Non-alignment was a temporary strategy to gain favor. Today, it's a permanent way of conducting foreign policy. For example, African nations are no longer automatically taking sides in the US-China rivalry. Instead, they're forging their own paths. South Africa, for instance, maintains close ties with both Washington and Beijing. It's not just rhetoric, it's about tangible gains. In 2022, China-Africa trade reached $270 billion, and Chinese investment is transforming infrastructure across the continent. With China's Belt and Road Initiative, African nations are gaining access to better roads, railways, and ports. Part 3. Obstacles on the path. The road ahead is not without its challenges. The global south is not a monolith, and its rise is fraught with internal challenges. Staggering inequality threatens social cohesion. Political instability can scare away the investment needed for growth. And perhaps most cruelly, these nations often face the most severe consequences of climate change, a problem they did the least to create. In other words, economic growth does not automatically translate into balanced, resilient power. The journey from emerging to established is the greatest challenge of all. So, is the future of global power the global south? The answer is nuanced. The future is not about the south replacing the north. The 21st century will not have a single center of gravity. The future is multipolar. The rise of the global south means the end of Western domination, but not the end of the West. It means the world's agenda will increasingly be set in Jakarta as much as in Brussels. Its capital will be raised in Mumbai as much as in New York. Its innovations will come from Nairobi as much as from Silicon Valley. The future of global power is more complex, more diverse, and more unpredictable. It is a future not of one leader, but of many voices, and that, in itself, is a revolution. What do you think? Share your thoughts. Subscribe for more.